All right, welcome. Tonight, we have a special report on a universal moment of digital suspense, something we've all been through. We're breaking down the anatomy of a loading screen. We have to interrupt your normal digital activity for this special report. We're going to give you a moment-by-moment breakdown of a very common yet kind of poorly understood phenomenon, that sudden, involuntary pause. So let's start at the beginning. The first stage, we're calling it the initial alert. This is that moment where your control is just gone. It's a completely unexpected, non-negotiable halt to whatever you were doing. And then you see it. The first communication from whatever's in charge. But, it's not a request. It's a command. Just a moment. It sounds simple, but that little phrase signals a huge shift in power. So what's really going on? Well, your progress is stopped cold. Some other process has seized the connection. And at this point, you're not the driver anymore. You're just a passenger. The key thing here is that you're now waiting on someone or something else. But then, just when you think you're stuck, there is a development. We're moving into phase 2 of this whole standoff. Verification confirmed. After that bit of uncertainty, you finally get the first sign of progress, a real potential breakthrough. And there's the signal we were waiting for. Confirmation from the other side. That first security check, usually just to make sure you're a person and not a bot, it's been passed. You can feel this palpable sense of relief. You start thinking, okay, maybe this ordeal is almost over. And now we have the data to back it up, 100%. See, this isn't just a feeling, it's a confirmed metric. The system is acknowledging that you've met the first set of criteria. You've completed step 1 of what the tech folks call the digital handshake. But we have to be really clear here. While this feels like a victory, the situation is far from over. Yeah, the first hurdle is cleared, but the connection itself? It's not secure yet. This whole standoff is now heading into a new, and honestly, a more ambiguous phase. And that brings us to the next part, which our analysts are calling the Great Wait. This is where the tension really ratchets up. It's a standoff where one side has gone completely radio silent, leaving you stranded in this digital limbo. And here it is, the official status update on the negotiation, waiting for OpenAI.com to respond. The ball is totally in their court. All you can do now is just wait. You have to hold your position and hope the other side makes a move. The power is completely out of your hands. So this brings up 2 huge questions, right? What is actually happening behind the curtain during all this silence? And maybe the bigger question is, how long is this going to take? It's that uncertainty that makes this part of the encounter so frustrating. So let's break down the wait. It starts with an initial ping. That's like a digital knock on the door to see if anyone's home. Then the handshake protocol kicks in, where credentials are exchanged to build a trusted link. But then, right at the 2-second mark, the whole process just stalls, server acknowledgement pending. That final step, connection established, who knows when that's coming? And for you, every single millisecond feels like an eternity. And then, finally, a transmission. We're entering the final stage, the path forward. The other side breaks its silence, but it's not with a friendly greeting. It's a declaration. The conditions for you to get in have now been set. So it's really important to understand what these conditions actually are. They're a set of rules you have to follow for the action, in this case, your access, to be completed. This isn't a negotiation. It's a list of demands. And here they are, the explicit terms. First, you have to enable JavaScript. That's the code that makes websites feel alive and interactive. Second, you need to enable cookies, those little data files that remember who you are. Think of these 2 permissions as the toll you have to pay to cross this digital bridge. Let's be absolutely crystal clear. These are not requests. They are the keys. If you want to resolve this standoff, you have to comply. The choice is really that simple. Meet the conditions, or your digital journey ends right here, right now. And all of this brings us to one final big question. I mean, we take instant access completely for granted, but what does an encounter like this really show us? In a world that's built for speed, who actually holds the power in those tiny, agonizing moments where we are forced to wait?